So I want to talk about AEW wrestling. Now, I have been watching all of their shows and I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about their storylines and what I've enjoyed this past week. Now, first of all, I'm so happy that Mercedes Moné and Chris Statlander had a great match at Full Gear 2024. I just want to say it because their storyline was very wonky coming into this match. But I was just like, you know what? They're very talented women. They can really steal the show if they just let them. If they just turn it on, and they did. I'm so happy. Chris Statlander was amazing in this match, and so was Mercedes Moné. And I'm so happy because the last match that Mercedes had, if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, in the PLE was against Britt Baker. And I feel like after that match, there was a lot of crap being said about her, and I just didn't agree with it because I'm like, it was just one match. They didn't have chemistry. It's okay. She's still a great wrestler. And then, she had all these real random, okay? AEW, women's title defense. She has so many of them, just giving them out for no reason. But this one, they tried to build a storyline. It was wonky, but the match was worth it. When I tell you I love that match. Okay, that was my favorite match. Mind you, AEW Full Gear, the whole freaking pay-per-view was amazing. Okay, but that was my favorite match. I thought it was so good. So I'm so happy for that. I'm glad that Camille has quit and she's no longer Mercedes Moné's bodyguard. That's the one thing I'm going to say that I enjoy about AEW. They listen to the fans. If something isn't working, they just go in another direction. Mercedes and Camille were not working. It was just not a good matchup. And so her quitting, I'm just like, thank you, Lord. Give her something else to do. Don't get me wrong. Still showcase her. She's a beast. But Mercedes and her, it didn't need to be together. They didn't need to be together. So happy to go ahead and see where Mercedes goes from here. But I just want to say that I enjoyed that segment a lot. I'm sure a lot of people did, because a lot of people did not like their whole relationship. Not like that, but I mean like them being put together in a storyline. It wasn't great. And so now I want to talk about Hangman Page. Now I low-key love his descent into insanity. Swerve broke Hangman Page. And he broke him when he broke into his son's room and started talking to his baby in his crib. That is the moment that I believe that Hangman Page broke, right? And ever since then, he doesn't care, right? And I knew that him and Christian had amazing chemistry. Christian knows how to handle crazy people, okay? His partner forever was Adam Copeland. And that man can be some craziness sometimes, okay? And so I knew they had good chemistry when I saw it in the match. And then in Full Gear, when he came out, and it seemed like he helped Christian Cage, to almost, do the contract, to sign the contract so that he can have a title shot at the AEW World title. It looked like he was helping him. He made a deal with Christian Cage. Like I said, Christian Cage is very good at manipulating people, even crazy ones. All right? And so Adam Page again explained that he made a deal and he's going after the world title, that he's not going to be distracted anymore, and that he's going to go and be the world champion, right? John Moxley has that title, baby, so I don't know how that's going to go for you, Adam. But I really enjoyed that segment that they had. I know I went through a whole thing with Adam Page, but I'm going to go straight into segueing into him versus Jay White at Full Gear because the match was great. And I love the story that's here. Yo, Jay White beat Hangman Page 5-0. Yo, what are those? 5 times he's beaten Adam Page. 5 times. And anyway. And so Adam Page is saying how he's going to go after the world title, right? And so then Jay White comes out and he's like, bro, I beat you. How you going to go after the world title? I beat you. What is this? You didn't win. And then came out the Blackpool Combat Club. I knew they were going to take this line down. Let me tell you, as soon as you even say that you want to go after the world title, Jon Moxley is going to stick his Death Riders on you. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. Because he is the king. That's how he sees himself right now. And so he sent his people, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio. They all came out. Claudio was getting ready for his match. But they all came out. Let me tell you, they all came out to attack Jay White and Hangman and Page, right? And let me tell you something. There was this moment, because, Marina Shafir was out there. And I'm like, where's that? Where's Jon Moxley? Where's Moxley? Because they were taking each other out. Because, this is not the lower card. This is the upper card we're going into. And I feel like they're going to fight these Death Riders. They're not scared. Like, Hangman Adam Page is a dangerous man. He burned somebody's house to the ground. Like, he's not scared of Jon Moxley and his Death Riders, and neither is Jay White. Mind you, I love that Jay White is here in this spot because he deserves it. He does. He's a great, talented wrestler. Anyway. So they're all going and fighting each other, and we're seeing one member of the Death Rider, each of them keep coming out, right? First we had Pac, and he attacked Jay White, right? And then we had Wheeler Yuta who attacked him and Page. And so they were fighting each other, and eventually Page got taken out, right? But White came back, and he caught Marina Shafir. Because she was going to attack him. She caught her, and he was almost going to do his finisher on her. And then that's when Moxley came in, and he knocked him out with his sleeper hold. And then they jumped him. They just completely, it was just an attack on Jay White. Let me tell you, they beat him up. They were pissed. I think it's because he touched Marina Shafir. And he looked like he was going to do his finisher on her. So his fans went crazy. I love this storyline. Because we can tell more than one story at once. And everyone should want to go after the world title. And if you've noticed, Jon Moxley has not gone after the undercard anymore. And I think it's because he has to focus on all these crazy men that won his title. They're all nuts. Okay, not all of them are nuts, but a lot of them are nuts. There's a lot of levels to crazy, okay? And so a lot of them want his title, and they're not scared of him. Even if he's lost his mind. And so I enjoyed this segment a lot. I really did, because I really do love it when I see multiple people going after the title, because eventually when it's just one person over and over and over again, it gets very repetitive and it gets very boring. But here, we're opening up even more challengers for Jon Moxley, so I'm happy. And Christian Cage is in the corner somewhere with his contract, so we'll see that eventually. But anyway, and then the Hurt Syndicate been doing great. Bobby Lashley beat Swerve. He beat him at a full gear, and I don't think that Swerve loses anything in defeat. Like, this was a really good match. And at the end of the day, Swerve is a former world champion. So he'll just rebuild. He will literally just rebuild. He'll be fine. But I like that we're building the Hurt Syndicate as a faction that you should be scared of. As a faction that will actually hurt you, that will defeat you, that will grab your championships. This slow build has been very nice. And again, I appreciate all the love for Shelton Benjamin. Because he's been here for a while. And sometimes he's been misused. We've seen it. We've all seen it. But, good to see that he got a point, though, in the Continental Classic. He had a match with Ricochet. It was a good match. It was a really good match, and he won, and as he should have. By the way, I love the Continental Classic. I thought when it first was introduced, I love it. I said, this is such a good idea. Nobody's going to interfere because there's always shenanigans sometimes. But in this one, you may get a cheater here and there, but you won't get a distraction. And then you get really good matches, and they matter. The point system is really good in this. I'll always remember Daniel Garcia. Although he lost all his matches until the last one, and he beat Brody King. And because of that, he gained the point, and Brody didn't. And it matters. Every point matters. So I think the Continental Classic being back is great. It's great. I love all of the contests that AEW has. It showcases their talent.